Week 19. How will my world look like with perfect health? What will my world look like with perfect emotional and physical health? And why I never had all this until now. Okay, we are on our 19th webinar of 27. The year has just flown by. In our very first meeting on January 1st, I told you that all people's immune systems were weak, and if a health crisis were to occur, people would be blown away like leaves. After 18 sessions of this incredible course, you now understand why people have weak immune systems and don't realize it. And also how you can all be, everyone can be a million times healthier naturally. The worse you live, the more products you need to live badly, the more you intoxicate your body, and then you need more products because you're weaker. And as you have seen in this year together, this was just the tip of the iceberg and the least of your problems. There was so much more, and the roots run deep. We spoke about your brain. We spoke about your relationships. We spoke about your relationship with yourself. We spoke about living with pain. There are so many things that we're conditioning you to have a weak immune system that you know that using medicines, products, vitamins, or other things that would clog up your system, which is the least of your problems. Okay, so 2020 is coming to an end, and in the same moment, your perfect health and emotional health, perfect physical health program is coming into full bloom. Your leaving definitively pain for the rest of your life is coming into full bloom. Your idea of living with yourself for the rest of your life is coming into full bloom. Today, we're going to talk about what your world will look like with perfect health, emotional and physical. When we can latch ourselves on to what we're going to live at the end of our objective, it just makes it a little bit sweeter. It makes it a little bit more concrete. It makes it a little bit more real. We're kind of defining where we're going. I want you to know what you're fighting for. You're not fighting to leave pain. You're putting your energy into creating this new reality, which is personal freedom, is perfect health, is self-love. And this all equals an existence of utter bliss. It's bliss. I guarantee in your future that you will appreciate every pain-free and joy-filled moment of your life. And you will understand why you didn't have this power before. And I hope you will never forget why you didn't have it and that you now do have it. You know, I love to speak with Martha.
Hello.
Martha, hello. So, have you thought about in this course, healing your life from pain, have you thought about where you were actually going?
Uh, After the last meeting in Abano.
Yeah, we did our seminar last weekend. Yeah. And you thought about it, where you're going.
Yeah, I'm starting to imagine the life in another way, in a completely different
Fantastic.
way. In a completely different way.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's exactly what we're going to be discussing. Your life is going to be in a completely different way. And this was always your destiny. This was always your power. This was always possible. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get on because I would like for you to really think, listen, don't drift away, listen and think about what we're going to say in the session, because the more you can get into what I'm saying and the more you can see and make it real in your mind, this is where we're going, this is what we're gonna hit, okay? This is what you're working towards, the easier it will be for you to just go this no, this yes, this no, move, I'm going through, okay?
Okay.
Okay? All right, all right. So don't drift away. Stay with me, okay? Okay, okay. The reason why you didn't have it, all this wonderful life we're going to talk about today, is that you didn't have a relationship with yourself. We spoke about this from the beginning of this course. You did not know that your life's journey was to discover and enjoy discovering all the wonder of you. You thought you needed fixing instead of understanding that you never had the deep, profound relationship you should have always had with yourself. Remember how many times every week I tell you it all depends on the deep, profound relationship that you have with yourself. Life is about that deep, profound relationship with yourself. Everything else is based on top of that. So we can't live our lives without that deep, profound relationship with ourselves. Okay? You thought that life and other people were the problem. Other people were the problem. Life was the problem instead of the way you were living life. Okay? Other people and their feelings, their lives, their actions were more important to you than your own. And even if it seemed like at the time that you were focusing on you were really focusing on other people. You were ignoring your pain. You had become desensitized also to most of your pain as a coping mechanism to help you get by. Too much pain, you turn down the level on certain pain. You don't see all of it because you can't see all of it. Otherwise, it will overwhelm you. And you focus only on some aspects of your life. Some things we see, and a lot of other things we did not see. Okay, so you did not know that you were always going about life from the point of view of impotence. Everybody seemed more powerful than I was. Everybody seemed like they had it together. I was fighting to climb a hill, okay? And you didn't understand that you always had power. You thought that you were taking responsibility for your life, but you really weren't. You might have been taking responsibility for other people's lives, but you really weren't taking responsibility for your life and your true well-being. And we rediscuss what that true well-being is. Okay, so you did not know how to truly live as an individual. Society doesn't teach you how to live as an individual. Society told you what would make you happy, and you tried to obtain it, even though you had examples all around you of people and even yourself who had reached these objectives and were still not happy. We started off this course talking about what was going to make you happy and what you thought, what society told you was going to make you happy. And then we discussed when you reached it, did it really, really eliminate the problem and make you happy? No. Okay. Most of all, you were conditioned to never, ever leave your pain by 100%. That was the first thing I told you. Because life to you before you started this course meant the acceptance of pain. I want you to think about the fact that you have been conditioned to think that what most people like, what most people do, what most people consider to be the truth is what you also consider or considered, not anymore, to be the truth. Your mind will try to say no as I'm saying this, but let's take a couple of examples, okay? So you can understand what I'm saying. Take the phrase, no one wants to be alone, okay? Being alone means you are unloved and unlucky. If you are alone on a Saturday night, you're desperate or you're a lonely loser, okay? In your mind, you know that all this is not true. There may be many reasons why you are alone, but society has told you that if you are in the company of others, then you are considered to be happier. We all know that this is not necessarily true, but on a subconscious level, you think it. And also on a conscious level, you think it. People believe this to be true. The more people believe certain ideas, the more you will struggle with yourself to believe and stand by what you believe. What I'm saying is, the more people believe something, the more you may say, well, Maybe that's not always true, but if you're the only one thinking it and you've been trained to think what everybody else thinks is the truth, then you're going to have a fight with yourself and you're not going to stand by what you believe. You can have a hard time standing by what you believe and setting yourself apart, okay? Because people tend to think that what the masses believe is right. You have to study this for a little bit to see that you've just been led to think that what everybody else thinks is right is just automatically right. You just automatically do it. Okay? So society believes that you must prove yourself and your worth to others. And we spoke about how this massive conditioning starts practically at birth. We spoke about that the last time we met. Society believes that you will be happy if you are in the company of others. Society believes that you'll be happy if you create a family, if you have children, if you are married, if you are rich, if you become famous, if you are respected by others, if you have a lot of free time, if you take frequent vacations, if you have followers, if you have likes on social media, if you are beautiful, if you are thin, if you have muscles, the six-pack stomach muscles, if you are funny, if you have power, and many other things. Society tells you that you will be happier if you have these things. We spoke about this in the beginning of this course where I told you that that does not necessarily happen, okay? We have spoken in the past months about the pressures of chasing these imaginary carrots. They're imaginary carrots that are put in front of you. And about how when you actually look behind the curtain, of all these conditions, which were supposed to make you happy, that what you saw in reality was that there was no real correlation to this with happiness. Okay? So, how many people do you know who are in the company of others and they tell you that they're not happy, they're unhappy? Okay? So, let's just think about it. Everyone complaining about their family members or their husband or their wives or whatever, or their coworkers. These people, just because we are in the company, I'm trying to break myths and let you see how you were putting yourself under a lot of social pressure that really never corresponded to the truth. Okay? So, like I said, how many people do you know who are in the company of others and are talking about how unhappy they are because they are in the company of others? Or do these people who are in the company of others seem to be happy or unhappy? Just go to a restaurant and see people looking at their cell phones and sitting there. They have nothing to say to each other. Okay, you get the rare couple who's talking and laughing, but it's not automatic that just because you're out with someone or you're with someone that you're happy. We're breaking the myths, okay? How many times have you been unhappy in the company of others? Okay? So, or how many times has it just been a job for you just to try to get along with others in your family, at work, or even with your friends? We're talking about things that society told you was going to make you happy. Okay, so how many people do you know who have created families who are not happy? How many people do you know who have children who are not happy? Okay, so how many people do you know who are married and they're not happy? Okay, so how many people do you know who are rich? You have to really know rich people to know this. Okay, so how many people do you know who are rich and are not happy? Lots. Okay, how many people do you know who are famous? Just look at the tabloids. Okay, who are famous and who are not happy. It seems like they're I don't know whether they invented, but it seems like they've got trials and tribulations every day. So how many people do you know who are respected by others and they're not happy? Okay. How many people do you know who have a lot of free time and they're still not happy? How many people do you know who take vacations, frequent vacations, and they're still not happy? How many people do you know who have followers and likes on social media and they got all sorts of problems and they're not happy? Okay. How many people do you know who are beautiful and they're not happy? How many people do you know who are thin and they're not happy? when you read it like this, it seems absurd because you're like, lots. How many people do you know who have muscles? This is ridiculous. Okay, they have muscly bodies, and they're not happy because it's ridiculous to think that muscles would have made you happy. But that's what people do. They go to the gym and they're working out and they're trying and they're looking at the other person. I got to get more muscles because that's going to make me happy. It's going to make me feel satisfied. And then when you get the six pack or the muscles and you're still not happy and you're off to the next thing that's supposed to make you happy. How many people do you know who are funny and not happy? One time I worked with one of the most famous comics in Italy, and he was the saddest man I've ever known. But you turn on the TV camera and he put on a great act, you turn off the TV camera, and he was practically 1 second from suicidal. Okay? So how many people do you know who have power? And so many things, so many other things, and are not happy. Okay? So we spoke about the stress of chasing these imaginary carrots, which would make you feel happy, adequate in the eyes of others, and would consolidate you as someone who did something with their lives and who would possibly stood out as being exceptional. Okay? Reaching and obtaining the imaginary carrots was the goal. The carrots would make you happy, even after you saw that this was not true for you or for other people. Feeling adequate or being liked by somebody else or going in the opposite direction and distinguishing yourself from the others or being better than other people was the goal. It sounds really ridiculous when I say it like this, but this is true. This is exactly what people are doing with their lives. Okay? So life has always been about the carrots, about being considered adequate or always in some way being considered by others. You chase these carrots, but no one told you that you were supposed to live as an individual, loving and knowing yourself more and more each day, and also because you never saw anyone else living like this and being truly at peace with themselves. All you saw around you were people chasing carrots and then relying on chasing the crumbs of solace to make themselves feel better as they destroyed their bodies and their minds with stress and endless comparisons and frustrations. The crumbs of solace. Okay? The little crumbs which make us feel a little bit better here and there. Okay? Mindfulness is a crumb of solace because your true journey in life was to live in a completely relaxed state of constant inner peace, no matter what was going on around you. And let's face it, unless you were a soldier fighting in a war-torn area, there really isn't much that happens in our lives every day which we cannot handle, okay, if we really think about it. If we are living as emotionally free individuals, we can handle everything. We are able to handle everything that happens in our lives. Also because we're acting on a much higher level of power, personal power. We see that basically the things that we were having problems with before really cease to exist and we can handle everything. But as we've seen in the past 19 weeks, the concept of living as an individual was not something that people truly understood. No one understands living as an individual, what that really means, okay? Another crumb of solace. We should not need meditation. We should not need meditation. You need the meditation because you were living in pain and you were destroying yourself and you were following others and running after others and you were stressing yourself out and you did not have a relationship with yourself. And so then you need a crumb of solace, which was the meditation. Okay. So you should live in a loving connection with yourself always. We should have always been living in a loving connection with ourselves in which we feel constantly in tune with what we are thinking and feeling because our well-being, our own personal well-being, and the discovery of ourselves is our most important focus. Crumbs of Solace. Focusing on others, thinking we need to prove ourselves, feeling stressed, taking medicine, pills, vitamins in order to cope, and never understanding that by changing our way of viewing ourselves and our lives, and by understanding that we are already free, we can live our strongest, best self. Okay? So eliminate the focusing on others. Eliminate the need to prove ourselves to others. Eliminate the feeling stressed. Eliminate all the palliative solutions. Okay? Eliminate the carrots. And we are going to change our way of viewing ourselves, understanding ourselves, and of living our lives. And we are now realizing, hey, we've always been free and we can now live our strongest self. We've spoken for 9 months about how all this starts with the relationship with ourselves and about developing a rock solid foundation of self esteem. Society told you that the more you prove yourself, the stronger your self esteem would be. But unfortunately, this is not true. The truth is that self esteem is the respect and the importance that you give to yourself. It's like self love, it's never earned, it's just given. We just give it to ourselves. So we've spoken about so many things this year, and every week you have come to see that living life in the way in which you were living it was a lifetime of stress. But since you saw everyone else doing it, you never imagined that you could definitively stop and get off the hamster wheel. Doing yoga, doing Tai Chi, and any other thing is definitely not stepping off the hamster wheel. That's not stepping off the hamster wheel. Those are crumbs of solace. Okay? If you are living your life as a true individual, you are not defining yourself by others. Remember, we said in our last session that we were going to break all the mirrors in the mirror game? So we're breaking these mirrors. So you live in peace when you live as an individual who is not defining themselves in relationship to others. You live in peace and you do not need outlets for stress. I need you to understand that we do not have a relationship with ourselves. We run after others, we look for other people's approval, we get all stressed out, and then we need outlets for our stress. And then we live these crumbs of solace, these little moments of, oh, oh, okay? And then we think, this is good. No, we don't need a crumb of solace, okay? Everything in your life changes when you understand what it means to live your life as an individual who loves, respects, and listens above all to themselves. Everything in your life changes when you see that your self esteem is never earned by being up to par or better than others. That's the exact opposite of self esteem, okay? And that giving yourself your self esteem is one of the biggest and simplest acts of love which you can perform. When someone asks me, how can I love myself? Give yourself healthy, optimum, rock hard self-esteem. Give it to you. Okay? That's one of the biggest love actions you can perform on your behalf. I know in your lives you have been willing to do incredible things for other people. Now it's time to do this for you. Give yourself your personal freedom in life by giving yourself your self-esteem. What you think about you. Okay? The more self-esteem you give to yourself, the more personal freedom you will experience. Living with personal freedom during your lifetime means living in bliss. It means always living with the solid foundation that you are an incredible miracle. 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 And that your life's journey is and always will be to discover everything about you. This is the meaning of life. Okay? How much time do you spend today, every day, in your days, finding out about other people's lives? Think about it. Okay? People constantly comment on other people's actions, on what they say, on what they wear, on other people's life choices. And you get caught up in TV shows, in TV reality shows, in talk shows, in newspaper gossip, chats, TV stars' lives, and also the lives of people on television shows like The Bold and the Beautiful, or soap operas, or just TV sitcoms. You get caught up in these lives. TV characters become real to people, and they comment on their lives, on the lives of these imaginary people, as if they were real, giving energy to habits which we feel are just fun and curiosity, but which reveal a deep underlying problem. A lot of times we're just having fun, but we don't realize that we're focusing on other people's lives, stars' lives, fictional characters' lives, TV show people's lives, other people's lives. It goes past a bit of just being fun and being curious. And there's always that comparison. What they're living, what I'm living, what they were living, what I'm living, what they were living, what I'm living. And it's all very subtle and we don't notice it. We live in a world in which, in some way, people are conditioned, at times, obsessed by other people's lives, even by imaginary people's lives. If you never knew that your life journey was to be free, was to live free, was to think the highest possible idea of yourself for all of your life, then you just followed what other people were doing. And everything you do is basically along the general lines of what society dictates you should do or you should be. If I just take an idea of people following people on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all sorts of other things. If you think about, everyone in the world now has access to saying what they're thinking today, what they're eating, what they're dressed like, hello, what my mother-in-law said, all different sorts of problems and things like this. Okay, so everybody's talking, and we live in a society in which we want to know what everyone else is doing. We have been trained to look at other people, like we talked about last week. This is an informational overload. It is a comparison overload. It is the way you destroy individuality and self-esteem. Because if I am spending my time trying to look good for other people, or trying to say something to other people, or hoping other people will listen to what I'm saying, or looking at how many people listen to what I said or their reactions, this is exactly what caused the problem before social media. And it has brought it to a new level that we can only imagine the repercussions. We can only imagine the repercussions, because you didn't know you were supposed to live as an individual before, and you were playing the mirror game before. Now the mirror game has become something that's everywhere, okay? Everywhere. I walk down the street and I look at people walking down the street looking at their phones. You don't even, you fall in potholes and you fall off the sidewalk. People bump into you. Now with COVID, people look, because now it's, I want to look at my phone, but I also want to look to see if you've got your mask on. So I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, so it's really kind of crazy. But social media has made it easier for people with low self-esteem to want to say whatever I want. Please listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And other people with low self-esteem. I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, and nobody is really living as an individual, but it seems like everyone's living as an individual. I'm saying what I want to say. I'm doing what I want to do. Here's me on vacation. Here's me at the sea. Here's me. And you never really realize what are the motivations for that. Because when you really have a healthy self-esteem, it's something that you really, it's like a game that you don't really want to play, because I know what my breakfast looks like. I know the view out of my window from my hotel room. That's great for me, but like I really don't want to. I'm not thinking about getting likes and people looking. It's really something that it's almost like a drug. It's almost like a drug for certain people, or it's something that completely annihilates the real reason why we should be living what we're living. We're living what we're living because we're trying to experience us. We're just experiencing us. When I say that your life, this personal, deep, profound relationship with you, is the meaning of your life. And then we have the world, which is telling you, if you didn't put it on Instagram, it didn't happen, so put it on, and then hope someone's going to like it. And if you don't exist on social media, you don't exist. So many things, so that personal relationship with you as an individual is something that you're being drawn even farther away from that. And also of, I love myself, that personal love, that journey of loving yourself, you do that focusing on yourself, not focusing on other people. So the more you have access to other things, and you haven't really developed those deep roots in you, the more likely you are to not notice it. But a lot of the stress in your life is even more exasperated because you're constantly making confrontations and paragons with other people. You're comparing yourself continuously with other people. Before social media, you compared yourself maybe with, I don't know, 20 people. Now it's 20 million, so it's a lot more comparisons, okay? So what does it feel like to love yourself? Not only to love yourself, but to be crazy in love with you. To wake up every day happy, knowing that you have another day of adventure in which you will discover another piece of you. What does it feel like to always believe in yourself, or to find that if you are a bit blocked, to never desist, but to always push forward and to push past all of your limits because you want to be happy, because you want you to be happy. You want to discover how to make yourself happier each and every day. Nothing is static in your life because, like a child, you are living with passion, your passion of discovering the miracle of you every single day. You love what you discover and you want to discover more. Every day, you're loving this new journey of discovery, and every day, you want more and more. A lot of times people feel that they don't want to understand or discover themselves because they feel that they may not like what they uncover and they discover. You've probably never looked at yourself with no mirror images around you of other people. Those are those mirror images. The reason looking at yourself or understanding yourself may not have been totally positive is because while you were doing it, I guarantee that you were comparing yourself to others, or you were thinking about the situations in the past in which you may not have liked your interactions with others. You may not have approved of yourself, or you may be criticizing yourself for things you did with others. Discovering the wonder of you is about you. It's not about you and other people. It's about you. You. This is a very hard concept for people to understand, but it is at the basis for your development as an individual. Okay? Plus, it is the most liberating feeling in the world to know that your self discovery is and will always be a source of joy for you for the rest of your life. I've given you a source of joy, of pure joy for the rest of your life. And what is it? Discovering you as an individual and as a miracle. Okay, you are a miracle. Every human being is a miracle. But hardly anyone knows this or acts like this. A miracle does not need approval from others. A society of miracles does not create idols. It does not create classist groups. It does not create distinctions between people. It does not create worthy and unworthy individuals. A society in which people know they are miracles, this would never exist. Unfortunately, if you look closely, or even not so closely, at our society, creating distinctions in people and judging them seems to be all people do. You must now make the decision to save your sanity and to get off the hamster wheel and put yourself in your right class. Because you do have a class, okay? You're in a class all by yourself. That's your class, all by yourself, okay? You are a miracle. That's your class. What class am I in? You're in, you've got miracle status, okay? Everyone is a distinct, unique miracle. And it's time to break free and live your true identity. Discovering all the ways that you are a beautiful, complex, evolving miracle should keep you occupied for life, okay? And as we now know, your lifespan has increased during this course by at least 80 years. We remember Martha, who's going to be 200, and her 80-year-old boyfriend, Luigi, her toy boy, Luigi. Okay, so we have now increased our lifespan, and we have even more with what we know now about how to live life. And we are going to spend all that time discovering how much we are miracles. That means that you will have decades and decades of quality time with you, the miracle called you. Okay? So we have gone from looking at yourself through the eyes of others to looking at you through your true eyes, your loving eyes, your eyes which know that the most important voice and vision in your life must be yours. And all this is true bliss. It's true bliss. The true peaceful bliss of being and living as a free person. You were always free. You just had to understand how you were unconsciously chaining yourself to others. Obviously, a miracle who loves themselves will never again accept to live in pain. Can you imagine a miracle who loves themselves accepting to live in pain? No. And obviously, as a miracle who loves themselves and strives never to accept to live in pain, and you now know that you often ignored your pain because others were more important to you, and you grew used to pain, and you even became unaware of it, you now know as this miracle that you are now calmly ready to peacefully go back to your original path in life of discovering you. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to think about the years you've wasted. That's neither here nor there. Don't even think about it. You are now just calmly ready to put yourself back on your true original path. Not you in relationship to other people, but just you. like a beautiful paradisiacal island full of wondrous beauty. This is how I want you to think of your life's journey from now on. Did anyone ever tell you that you were a miracle and like an island of paradise, and that your life's journey was to always discover your beauty, your wonder, and your uniqueness as an individual, besides me?
Yeah. Besides you, no, no,
Okay.
never.
So, miracle called Martha, an island of paradise, and your journey in life is now to understand and discover all of your beauty, your wonder, and your uniqueness for the next 140 years, give or take.
Yeah,
What do you say?
I'm trying to imagine the journey.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to imagine the journey. Okay, so what does this life's journey feel like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? It looks like joy, Martha. It looks like
Yeah,
joy.
yeah.
Okay? It looks like
Okay.
joy. It looks like passion, Martha. It looks like passion for every day, passion for every minute, growing passion. It looks like happiness, Martha. It looks like happiness. I wanna tell you what this journey feels like. Okay? It feels like calmness, Martha. It feels like calmness. It feels like continuous satisfaction, Martha. Continuous satisfaction. Continuous satisfaction. I did it. I saw it. I felt it. I loved it. Everything's good. Continuous satisfaction. It looks like fun, Martha. It looks like laughter. It looks like adventure, Martha. It looks like adventure. It looks like being relaxed and at ease all the time in your life. That's what it looks like. Can you see that when you feel this, those little crumbs of solace cease to be necessary or exist? Did you
No.
understand about the crumbs of solace? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay. So it looks like wonder, that wonder that children have, that look on their faces, that what they you see they're feeling when they're just looking at life, and it's like, wow, all this for me. There's just so much to discover. It's a look of wonder. Wow, you know. It looks like a continuous inner sense of gratitude, real, true gratitude that you feel deep down inside because you're so happy to be alive. On our weekend, I told you about what I felt was one of the most idiotic things in the world is practicing gratitude. Do you understand the difference? I'm talking about real gratitude that you feel because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
living. Yeah, it's different than saying
It's different. It's not
grateful.
to pretend
Yeah,
to be.
exactly. Exactly. You're not pretending and you're not reciting. I'm grateful for the blue sky today. I'm grateful that I woke up. I'm grateful for my pen. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for I'm living this wonderful adventure, and oh my goodness, I can't believe this passion I feel. I'm so grateful to feel this. I'm actually feeling it. I'm feeling it, and I'm grateful for this, and it's normal. It's normal because I can do it tomorrow, and I can do it the next day, and I get to do it the next day after that, and it keeps getting better, and I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful because I cut the ties and I'm free. I was always free. I just didn't know it. I told you you were shackled with handcuffs to the Titanic. You were cuffed to the Titanic. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? So natural gratitude. Real gratitude. Okay? So it looks like a connection with the earth, Martha. It looks like a connection with the universe, Martha. It looks like a connection with all the energy around you. That's power. That's power. Because there's more power than what we see. And living like this means we are perennially connected even to more. So it looks like a positive future, Martha. And it looks like always facing the future with serenity. With serenity. What does that look like, Martha? To wake up every day naturally positive, okay? And facing the future with serenity. And not saying, I have to be positive about this, a positive thinking. No, positive thinking is just, it's already, not you're thinking and it's positive,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Right, yeah? So I need you to see what this feels like, what this looks like. That's what it looks like. It looks like I wake up every day and there's only positive. The positive button has been pushed. I'm on positive. Why? Because I'm living my true journey. I'm a miracle. And I'm discovering how much I'm a miracle. And I'm loving every minute of it. Okay? So it looks like a sense of knowing that you are able to handle whatever may happen in life. And of knowing that most of life is a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. There's no real big problem that we really always have to think about. We make up of 99% of those problems. Okay, so life is a piece of cake, and when something does happen, it looks like finding the solution to all of life's challenges. What does looking like finding the solution to all of life's challenges look like? When we go back to the peace and we go back to the calmness and we go back to the serenity, because whatever life hands me, whatever challenge, I can handle it. And I'm going to discover a new piece of how much of a miracle I am. Okay, it looks like you taking optimum care of yourself, inside and out, which means living in perfect health. Okay? And this, Martha, means freedom. Perfect health means freedom, Martha.
Yeah.
Perfect health means freedom. Perfect health means freedom. Now think about what you had before and think about the fact that you were not free. Perfect health, emotional and physical, which you can create because you now see all the things you were doing to not create it, means freedom. Doing everything you were doing to not create perfect health and emotional and physical meant living in chains.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like living a calm, relaxed, emotional stability. So let's think about that, Martha. My emotional state is always calm. I'm not going up, down, 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 up, down. I'm not doing that. I'm living a calm, relaxed, emotional state. I know I have emotional stability. I can depend on my emotional stability. That's what it looks like, Martha. It looks like high self-esteem. I gave it to myself. It's high self-esteem. I have an optimum vision of myself, the best vision possible of myself. I can do no wrong. And if I'm doing wrong, I'm correcting it. I'm fixing it. I'm doing something about it. But in the meantime, I'm looking at the whole of me. I'm a miracle. I'm great. Okay? It looks like self-love. It looks like self-love. Self-love is the most beautiful thing on the face of this earth. When you see little babies who are happy, little babies are happy, but when you see them and they're in their cribs and they're touching themselves and they're just so content, they're loving themselves, they're experiencing their new surroundings because they love themselves. There's a connection there with themselves. Self-love. It looks like self-love, Martha. It looks like being happy to be you. Martha, it looks like being happy to be you. Have you lived your life being happy to be you?
No, maybe only when I was a child.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to reconnect. And yes, this journey looks like being happy to be you. It looks like power and always knowing that you are powerful. Do you know how always knowing that you are powerful is going to change your life, Martha?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always powerful. I'm not an unpowerful, not powerful person. I'm powerful. I just know it. I'm powerful. Okay. It looks like being your best friend for life. I'm giving you a best friend. You. That's what it looks like. It looks like being your best friend for life. It looks like knowing your true place and value while living amidst other people. Knowing your true place in the world and knowing your value when you have interactions with other people. Never doubting your value. That's what it looks like. Okay? Wow.
Okay.
It looks like being willing to do anything for you. You are willing to do anything for you. That's what it looks like. This journey, that's what this journey looks like. It looks like I'm going to be willing, I am willing to do anything for me. It looks like truly understanding what the words mind, body, and soul truly mean. Because people say it, but they don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It looks like, hear ye, a pain-free life. That's what it looks like. It looks like a pain-free life. No more pain. No more pain. Okay. It looks like pure and utter bliss. It looks like pure and utter bliss. Bliss. This was your true destiny, Martha. This was your destiny. I'm just putting you back on your path. Okay? So it also means being in control of your mind, your body, your liberty, your freedom, your liberty, and your life. And this is the reason why this personal power, which was always your destiny, has been kept a secret from you until now. Got it?
Got it.
Good. Now
Yeah.
you know what the journey looks like. You know what it feels like. We're going to
Yeah.
do it. It's always been a secret. You were on the wrong path. I put you back on the right path. And now we're going to give it 100. We're going to give it 100. No more pain. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.